I've been gay my whole life and I've been out of the closet for 16, almost 17 years, but I've only been a faggot for like 3. I just wish I'd been gayer sooner. Coming out made my whole life only easier, like literally only easier.
Okay.
There'll be this kind of like cycle that happens every few years where like new stand-ups, they'll all be kind of doing an impression of like who their current favorite comedian
because they've
is.
got inspo from somewhere.
Exactly.
Right?
I think it happens quite unconsciously. I don't think people realize they're doing it. I was 25 minutes late. I won't deny it.
And it took 25 minutes for me to set up the cameras.
Yeah.
So
That's great.
We saw you last night at your show.
Thank you for coming.
Which was amazing, really funny. I feel like I know you, and I'm going to introduce you by telling you what I know about you, okay?
Okay, great.
And Josh is already sweating.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Jake Cornell.
Yes.
You are, and if I get anything wrong, tell me. Someone with very big nipples.
That's where we're starting. Okay, yeah. I wouldn't say they're big. They're just pointy.
Oh, sorry,
Okay.
pointy. That was I made that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. It's his mating call. Terrible fashion. Scared of birds, and I think that was it.
I think we did
We
enough
love
there.
insulting our guest who's come all the way
Look,
from New
it's all
York to see
ammunition
us.
I gave him in the show.
This
So
is what I've learned of you.
Yeah.
So I love your theory. Let's take it back because I mean, obviously, in this context, it's not going to sound great because I was going to put that in the introduction and quickly assault myself. It's like you believe that every gay kid should be, beaten up so that they have. so they have.
I promise this makes more sense in the context of the show.
I really, really enjoyed that. I thought that was really funny because obviously there's like a thing about art, creating art. You have to have some sort of trauma or some sort of
Or
experience.
struggle. Or,
Yeah.
And your link was so fucking good. How do you come up with stuff like that? Like when you said, "Oh, this parent comes with me and they have a non-binary child called sedative."
Yeah, I'll have like ideas for, I'll have like ideas of like kind of funny thoughts or premises I want to work through, but then oftentimes the funniest punchline or the funniest version of it will happen on stage just with like the pressure of the audience. Like when you're riffing with the audience, I think that little added push of the pressure of the situation of being on stage doing the show makes you funnier. So a lot of times it's like that's when I'll come up with, like, I don't remember when I wrote that line, but if I had knowing myself, I would guess that I had the idea to talk about that sort of situation on stage and then probably came up with that specific version of it like during a show.
Yeah.
And then got a big laugh and then it was like, okay, well that got a big enough laugh that now it's officially
keep
part of the
rolling
show.
with it
Yeah.
afterwards.
Because we make fun of that. We're like, if you want to come up with names that shouldn't be names, like we're like, oh, just imagine like having a daughter like who's really syphilis, chlamydia.
It's
I was
like
sedative
posh
is like-
English names I can 100% imagine it being a thing.
Meet our daughter chlamydia. She's
Yeah,
fine.
literally.
But how is your experience like coming out and stuff? Because there's a lot of like hints towards it in the show, and you kind of spoke a bit about like struggling with.
I mean, coming out for me in the scope of what, like, how it can go was pretty much fine. You know what I mean? I knew that, like, I came out when I was pretty young, too. I was 16. I mean, I knew that, like, I was fortunate enough to know, like, I wasn't, like, at risk of being, like, thrown out of the house, you know? Like, that wasn't really ever going to happen. I knew my mom would, like, mildly not, my mom would care in the sense that she cares about me, but, like, my mom would not be, like, upset about it at all. My dad and my stepmother at the time, it was a little bumpier, but I think with my dad now, it's like, it's totally fine. He just needed a little time to like process it. He was like, it was also, I mean, it was at this point, it was in 2000, God, what year did I turn 16? 8? Like, so it was just like a little bit of a different time. And I think his whole argument at the time was like, it's not argument, but he felt like he didn't understand it wasn't a choice. And so he just kept on being like, I think you're too young to make this choice. And then it took him a minute to like understand that it wasn't a choice. But like once he did, it was fine.
Yeah.
And he wasn't like I said, neither of my parents were people that hated gay people. So it like didn't really, that was not an issue. Yeah. So like coming out was totally fine. And like also like as someone who was not ever closeted in the way that like no one knew, like it was obvious I was gay, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Why was
So
that
like
obvious?
friends maybe like picked up on it, or certain family members were
No,
aware.
enemies picked up on it, but like
Okay.
everyone knew.
Yeah,
Everyone knew.
yeah,
I
yeah.
was just obviously, I mean, my mom tells me now, like people made jokes about me being gay when I was like 18 months old. Like I was just like effeminate from the jump. Like,
Okay.
so like it was not I've never experienced a thing of like coming out and someone being like, whoa, like that's just never been my life.
Yeah.
And so because of that, coming out made my whole life just only easier, like literally only easier.
Okay.
Because like I don't know if you guys had this experience, but like there's like when you are closeted, quote unquote, but everyone's telling you you're gay, and then you're realizing they're right, but you are not getting to come to that on your own terms because you're like told before you got to figure it out, is like a very humiliating feeling.
Yeah.
And really embarrassing, like really degrading. And so that the alleviation of that when you do finally come out is like pretty massive. Like it was a huge weight.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
And what's the whole big guy thing that you, because that was really interesting because it's in the context of like almost like body confidence and like.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like, I talk about it in the show, just kind of this idea that like my grandfather always said to me, "Hey, big guy." That was like how he would, and to this day, how he greets me. And as a child and as a teenager, I was so body obsessed with myself, and I have like a Herculean case of body dysmorphia. Like I had like. And so hearing big was always like very upsetting to me because because I didn't understand the concept. It was very foreign to me, the idea of like big being a good thing.
Okay.
Like I did not relate to, now I get it and I feel that way to an extent, but like as a child, I grew up around a lot of women. Like I was mostly surrounded by women. My dad was working a lot, and then my grandfather was there. I was around my grandfather a lot, but there was my mom, my grandma, my aunt, like my sister, like women I always connected with more when I was younger. And I think there was a lot of body stuff happening with them, especially it was like the 90s. Like there was so much like diet culture and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think I just onboarded a lot of that stuff about like, not wanting to be big. And so when he would call me big guy, I was like very upset by it. And it's funny because now I realize, like, it's just funny. I think where the comedy started to come in is looking back on it now and realizing like that so wildly was not his mindset, and he would never
just like,
occur to
boys,
it.
like, you're
And that was just all so foreign to me. So yeah, like that's kind of like the origin of it.
If you were to go back a little bit into like your coming out, is there a time where you kind of maybe knew yourself or you saw something on TV? Because if I think of my experience,
like when did I know I was gay?
Yeah,
when you watched Charmed, obviously.
Yeah, I mean that was pretty major. But
Leo or Cole?
No, actually, I mean, I knew I was gay before Charmed.
Okay.
I remember I joke like because I always say like I was told I was gay before I knew I was gay. Like it was like I was so young that like I don't think I had reached the level of puberty where like I was experiencing physical attraction.
Okay.
So when I first was denying that I was gay, it was like 100% true because I like literally wasn't feeling attracted to men yet.
Yeah.
And then I remember being like in the dugout of Little League baseball and seeing, I think, a boy batting or something. Like I saw one of the other boys on my team.
There's so many innuendos
in
that sentence.
Yeah, I mean, but I was probably like 9. Like I was like really early puberty, like 9, 10 or whatever. And I remember seeing like a boy do something. I don't know, but maybe just exist in a baseball outfit. And I felt like something. And I remember being like, God damn it. Like they're right. Like it's real. Like I felt it. And like and from then on.
Of an age.
Yeah, I mean, I think, because I know I was playing Little League, and I don't think I played that. I think I stopped that in the 6th grade. So at the oldest, I could have been 11. Yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, which was like the first time I felt attraction towards a boy, and it wasn't like graphic sexual attraction like it is now. I felt something and kind of instantly knew.
There's something,
a
bit different.
Yeah,
that's such an interesting thing as well, because when we're like younger, like having a crush on a guy is so confusing when you don't know that's not, like that's okay. Because
you're just like, do I really like this person as a friend? There was so many boys at my school that I was like, I really want to be friends with you, but it feels a little, but I don't quite understand like what it is, but you just kind of like being around that person. And
you always like, did you have crush on girls or did you never have a crush on girls?
I think I forced myself to have a crush on crushes on girls. Like I would tell myself I did and then become very obsessive about it, but it was because I didn't want to be gay.
Yeah, because I was gonna say there's a lot of like layers to like comedy, because you first of all, like even like, and we spoke about it a little bit, like when you first get on stage and you don't know what the crowd's gonna be like, and then you might see a familiar face but you have to concentrate. Like how do you make sure that you don't forget certain things that you're meant to say next? Or has there been a situation where that's happened? How do you recover? Because there was a little thing yesterday with someone that might be taking like a picture or a video or something.
Oh yeah.
Like, but you smoothed it so quick. Do you know, like, how do you think like that? Where it like,
I mean, I mean, it's different in different situations. The show you saw last night, I've been doing for a year, so I know it. I could do it. I could do it right now. You know what I mean? I could do it. I could do it right now while I made a batch of cookies. Like I know that show. You know what I mean? So that's like a little bit of a different thing.
Okay.
But also, I always say like my performance background originally was in improv comedy, which like was you go on stage with like literally nothing and you make it up with a bunch of people.
But how do you do that? Do you just like see someone that you maybe make a comment and you just go back and forth? Like how do you keep that going?
You just keep going. You just make a scene. You just say yes to each other. You keep performing. You're playing make believe in front of people. I mean, when it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's the worst shit you've ever seen in your life.
Oh no way.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say let's try it, but
no, God no. Not while the cameras are running. For sure. With improv, because you're playing make believe and because it's pretend, and you're within these scenes, like you really have to stay in it, and that makes it when it goes bad, it gets really hard. With stand up, like if I forgot if I truly crashed out and forgot, I could just say that to you guys. Like I could just say that to audience, being like, I have no idea what I was gonna say. You know what I mean? And I could make that funny. Like, you're always able to like do something. Like you're always, because I'm me. I'm not playing a character. When something goes wrong while you're playing a character, and you would have to step outside of the character to
like break that
address
wall.
it. Yeah. That is a little bit scarier, I think. But like when I'm doing stand up, it's like that's me up there. So like if something, you know what I mean? If there was like that thing last night with the fucking hand dryer, where like someone kept using a hand dryer, and like it's like I can just address that. Like instead of being like, fuck, they're fucking up my joke, I can just like stop the show, like not stop the show, but like pull it into the show and like make a joke about it, because you know what I mean? So like that's, and like in the beginning when I'm working on new material that I've newly written, sometimes I do forget it and I'll go off, or like I don't forget it. Like it's not like I'm standing up there and I'm like, I don't know what to say. Like you can always just say something else and keep talking.
Yeah.
But then I'll go look at what I meant to say and be like, oh fuck, I forgot that whole section that I wanted to do. Like that happens all the time.
Okay.
You just like I don't like sometimes on stage you realize it. Like I'll finish a bit and be like, I meant to do that whole section in the middle. Like I'm thinking this in my mind. And I'll skip it. But I'm not going to tell the audience that. They don't need to know that. Yeah. So like, I'll just keep going with whatever the next joke is. But like in my mind, I'm like, damn it, I missed that whole punchline.
You're just going to make it as smooth as it can possibly be.
Yeah, the audience doesn't need to know that. I mean, that's like half the battle with stand-up in general. Like, I feel like 80% of it, in terms of like being like a good show, is just like being confident on stage in a way that makes the audience comfortable. Because like, the audience can feel your nerves. It's like a horse, you know what I mean? They can sense fear. And so because everyone's afraid, like the audience is afraid of a bad show, not because they don't want to see bad comedy. They don't want to see you have a bad show.
Yeah.
They are going to feel bad for you and feel you, and they're going to see you're being uncomfortable. It's like an uncomfortableness that's going to exist for everyone, right?
Yeah.
So if you bring that energy like already before the show's even gone bad, there's no way the audience is going to be comfortable enough to laugh. You know?
Yeah.
So like you just kind of have to come out there without any nerves at all, like visible.
Yeah.
So that the audience is like, oh, he's got this. You know what I mean?
Tell me about a time that was shit in stand-up. I'm so intrigued because everyone has this. You see an actor, you're like, maybe I should try it. I watched Beyonce, I was like, maybe I could do that. And then I watched stand-up, like, maybe I could do that.
Yeah.
What is the worst that it could be? Like, if I were to start comedy.
The worst is like different. Like when you first start out, it's like you just don't know, because there's like lots of different kinds of stand-up, right? So like you maybe don't know what your version of it is yet. And like everyone's thing is different. You know what I mean? So like a thing that my friends and I talk about a lot is like a thing that happens, you'll see a lot in New York. I guess you probably see this in any comedy city. I just happen to live in New York, but stand-up, there'll be this kind of like cycle that happens every few years where like new stand-ups, when you go to like an open mic or when you see like younger stand-ups that are like just starting out and coming out, they'll all be kind of doing an impression of like who their current favorite comedian is.
Because they've got inspo from somewhere.
Exactly.
Right?
And so, and that'll kind of happen like in a cyclical trend where it'll be like everyone is kind of doing this person for a little bit. And then off that, they'll kind of start to evolve and find their own voice, and then it'll become their own thing, right? And so I think, why did I bring that up? I guess like what I was saying is like that's how I think people start out.
Person?
I don't know who my person is.
Okay.
Because the thing is, I think it happens quite unconsciously. I don't think people realize they're doing it.
Okay.
I think they don't realize, because like I think especially now it's like you're listening to your favorite stand-ups on their podcast, you're listening to them on the reels you watch of them on Instagram and TikTok or whatever. You're like copying their intonation and stuff without even realizing it. Do you know what I mean? So I don't
maybe a group that are also quite similar. But
yeah,
comics,
exactly.
kind of
So I don't really
mix.
know who mine are, but I guess the times that it's gone worse, I guess it's like in the beginning you're doing that, and I think you'll start to when you start to like there's like these periods of time. That part when you first start out will just suck because you're like you don't know what your own voice is. You're kind of doing this impression of someone else that you maybe, and you're kind of probably like trying to be original but not really figuring out how to write for yourself yet. So that sucks because you like know you're struggling. Then there's the version that sucks where you like thought something was gonna go well and it doesn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, like, so I think like that's the worst. Cause like now I'm in a phase right now where like the show that you guys saw last night, I've been doing for a year. I'm probably gonna tape it soon and like release it to the world, and then I will stop doing that show and I have to write a new show. Like that's the cycle, right? If you do a show, like I've toured that show to like 20 something, like I've toured it all over America. I'm in England doing it now. The people who wanted to see me do a show have seen that. So if I want those people to see me do another show, I need to write a new show, right?
Yeah,
so like I'm working on my next show. So I know right now this like new material, like it's not always going to work because it's like new ideas that I'm like still trying to figure out. So like but every once in a while you'll go out with something that you really thought was going to be good and you'll walk out and the audience is like, no.
Give me an example.
I had this show before I wrote Hey Big Guy. I had this idea for a show that was about like relationships, which I think was like, if I'm getting the timing of this right, I had gone through a breakup. I went through a breakup 3 years ago. Yeah, like 3 years ago. Oh, like this week actually. It was October. It was yeah, truly, it was October of 2022. Yeah, I'd gone through a breakup, and then I think like maybe like a year later, I was like, oh, I have this show about relationships because I was thinking a lot about like. Because I had been in that relationship for like 6 years. So I was thinking a lot about like relationships and stuff. I thought I had this idea, not about the breakup or that relationship, but just like about like relationships of gay guys in general. And I like had this kind of like, I thought I had this like really interesting thesis and that could be like make a really interesting show.
Yeah.
And so like, and I kind of mentioned this before, like part of my writing process is that I like have beats of ideas I'm going to talk about, and like, I have some jokes and some punchlines written, but there's also kind of like ideas that I think are interesting that I want to talk through in front of an audience, and that audience will help me make it funny.
That's cool.
Yeah, in theory. But there's like basically, so I posted like, I want to do this show. I think the name of it, I think it was also one of those things where it's like, I had a title I liked and I thought I liked the title enough, but it's like, you had a title, but you didn't have a show. It was a little bit of the thing, but I thought I had a show. It was called Who We Kiss and Why. And I announced it as a work in progress show. And I was like, I did it at this tiny little venue that I love in New York called Club Coming, where I do shows all the time. And I like announced it. It sold pretty well. I think it might have sold out. And then I get there and I'm kind of like, as like the day of the show is coming around, I'm like, all right, this is like a little crunchier than I wanted it to be. Like, I don't really know, like there are parts of this I'm still figuring out. Like, I don't really know like how XYZ is gonna connect. Like, but I think like I kept on telling myself like once I get in front of an audience, it's like really gonna click. Like, it's really gonna click. And then when I got there and saw the audience, it was like a lot of people, like in my mind, it was just gonna be people who follow me on Instagram who I don't know. But like it happened to be like a lot of people I like kind of know who were coming to see me for the first time.
Is
and
that
I was like,
worse?
Oh yeah,
Do you
because
think
I'm
in
like, if you
general?
know me, like I want you to come see Hey Big Guy. Like I want you to come see like a polished piece. Like if you're gonna come see me do stand up for the first time, don't just show up at a show where I'm working out new material, because then I'm gonna be like, I promise it's not normally like this. You know what I mean? Like I want you to see me at my best. Like do you know what I mean?
Overthink it
So
a
this
little
was
bit.
like a guy I had just had sex with. This was like a guy. This was like a friend of mine in the comedy scene. Like like the day before. Like a friend in the comedy scene that hadn't seen me do stand up. It was like people where I was like, no, like not this show. Like it's not ready yet. And then I went out on stage and I think the audience was a little like, there was just like energy off. Like, I don't know what it was. This thesis I told you that I had that I thought was like so great. I can't even tell you what it is because like, I don't remember, because like, as I was saying it on stage, I was like, oh, that doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, it's
And
actually,
you're realizing
like, in
it
my
in
mind,
real
it made
time.
sense. And then I said it out loud and was like, no, that's not good. Nope.
Fuck.
And the audience was kind of like, sure. And I kind of was like, this is not a show. Like, I realized, I had, like, ostensibly, like, these people all bought tickets. I need to do 45 minutes. I realized at about 5 minutes, there's nothing here. Like, I don't like this show. I'm never doing this again. This is not an idea that I'm interested in doing. So I kind of had to, like, in my head, as I'm, like, talking, like, I'm thinking of old stand-up to pull out to be like, how do I get, like, I just need to do time now because this show, like, doesn't work. And it ended up being fine. Like, it wasn't, like, it's not like everyone hated it.
Yeah.
But it was like knowing the audience had come thinking they were seeing like a work in progress. Like, I bet they wanted being like, what was that show? Because it was like, it just wasn't a show.
Yeah.
And it was like, I mean, it was a good lesson for me. That was like, because it was my first time trying to put together like a full hour like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's why when I went and did Hey Big Guy, I was like much more prepared for it.
Yeah. And some comedians like say like back when they first start, they would be like, they would do the show. They booked for an hour. They're like, it's fucking shit. The audience are not connecting. They're not laughing. It's not going well. And because it's they're starting their career, it's like, I have to do this hour. Like, I've been paid to do this hour. And then as they become more, I guess, established or more used to it, if the audience is the issue, not necessarily the material, I've heard like some comedians that will be like, after 5 minutes, if it's shit, they'll just be like, okay, well, it's shit. And then they'll just like leave. And I'm like, that would be so...
I would never do that.
You'd never leave?
No. I would never do that. No, I mean... If the audience was yelling like "die faggot" or like hated me, I would leave. But like, no, I don't really like the idea of like especially if they bought tickets for Jake Cornell. Like, if they bought tickets to a show with my fucking name on it, like, I'm not leaving because they're not giving me what I want. Sometimes you do a show like if I was on like a mixed bill show where it's like just called like London Comedy Night or something like that. And it was like the club books like 10 comedians to each do 10 minutes, right? And the audience was just like, I want to go see comedy tonight. And they really hated me. Or if it was like really not going well, I might leave after 5 of my 10 because it's like, oh, this is going really bad. I don't think I can save it. And maybe for the sake of the show, I just get off stage.
Okay.
But I would never do that for like, if it's my hour.
Right.
No.
So if you were to dive back into how you started comedy, why did you decide that you wanted to do it in the first place? Like, what age were you?
It was actually, I mean, I always knew I wanted to be a performer. Like, I always knew I wanted to be an actor and a performer. But my like experience in high school theater like made me think like, oh, you're too gay to do acting. So I went to school for like film instead. Okay. And so then like film writing and theory. And then I didn't like that. I was bored. I didn't, because I had to go to my state school because I couldn't afford to go anywhere else. And like my Vermont does not have like a posh film program. Like, it's not very well connected to the film industry. It's more like theoretical analysis than it is like production or writing or anything like that. So I was like, just kind of, and also like no gay guys go to UVM. So that's the university I went to. Mm-hmm. So I was just like at this university, there was like no other gay guys. I was like kind of not studying what I wanted to be studying. And I was just like, fuck, I hate this. And so then I found out that my university had an exchange program with Sussex. I was telling you about that earlier.
Yes.
And I was like 18 and I was like, oh, I can go live in England for a year and it doesn't cost me extra money. Yeah, bye. And so I did my sophomore year in England, but the program was I think they shut it down like the year after I did it because the way the program worked, like, I think UVM thought they were sending me to some study abroad program where there would be people there to be like, welcome to England, Jake. Like, here's what you do or whatever. And like, literally I got to Heathrow. I got on a bus. I got to the Sussex campus and I will never forget this. This girl was like, do you need help with your bags? I was like, yeah. She like walked me to my flat. I had like a school accommodation apartment. I walked in, she like dropped my bag and she's like, okay. And I was like, wait, what? And she's like, bye. And I I was like, oh my God, is this it? And then she like left and I was just like, oh, I just live in England now. Like, I don't, there's no program. There's no like, there was no hand holding. Like, there was no like, they didn't like, there weren't like, come meet the other American exchange. It was just like, you live in England now.
Sort it out.
And I was like, oh, fuck. Like, and I had gone from like that, I just hadn't experienced that. I come from like a big family, like having total autonomy. Like, I remember being in a country where I was like, no one knows me here. Like, not a single soul on this landmass knows who I am. Literally not a soul. And it made me feel really crazy. And so I was like, you need to make friends now. Like, you need community now. Like, I've always been that way. I need people. I'm like very gregarious. And so I like got to work. I was like make friends. And I think when I started to really make headway connecting with the people I was connecting with, it was by being funny. I was like, oh, like this is like how I connect. I like when I like identifying someone I like and respect and then making them laugh. That is like what I like. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel connected. It makes me feel, like part of something. And so, and I got good at it. Like that what's today? Is today Thursday? In 2 days, I'm going down to Brighton to see like all my Sussex friends and like get dinner with them, and they're gonna come to the show. Like we've been friends for like 13 years, you know.
That's really fun, yeah.
So, so I kind of figured out like, oh, you're funny. And then when I realized that, I was like, oh, well, when you're funny, you can be weird. Like, you don't have to be, like, in the entertainment industry. Like, the funny people don't have to be as hot as the dramatic actors. The funny people don't have to be as straight as the dramatic actors. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, there's, like, a world where you can be funny and be successful. And so then I found out about improv schools and was like, oh, I'll move to New York and do that. And then here we are.
Well, that's what's so interesting about it as well, is that I think comedians... I think it's like it's not a real thing possibly, but like comedians are meant to be like people who tend to have struggled with trauma or with some sort of like roughness. And that's why they use humor, I guess, to cope. And you mentioned like bullying. You also did mention something in your show about like being like, it was so good because it's literally like my dad, like being gay on TV was like a no, and then it's like, oh, you should hear him sing.
Yeah.
And that was such a good, even though it was funny, like it really resonated because it's true. It's like you see someone gay on TV, and if they couldn't sing or like couldn't classically do something that was gay, they'd be like, oh no, like gay boy, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, you should hear him sing, or oh, actually he's a really good dancer. Or and you have to
it legitimizes
qualify.
it. Yeah. I have like one gay best friend that I've been friends with since I was 12, and we're very close. He's like my brother. But other than him, I did not have like other gay people in my life really at all until Sussex, honestly. Like there weren't that many other. I had a boyfriend in high school the last year, but like I didn't have gay community. Like and so because of that, I was always like surrounded, like I always had like a million straight girlfriends. You know what I mean? Like that was like my college friend group was like a lot of straight girls. And some guys, but my gay, but it was a lot of straight women, a few straight guys, one gay guy. Like that was kind of my college friend group. And then like when I moved to New York, that kind of continued because I worked in restaurants, and the circle I ended up landing in was really straight initially. Like improv is a very straight world, and the restaurant industry, the pocket of the restaurant industry I was in was very straight. And so not having gay community, I think, leads a lot to like you're not doing like, you know, like you like a lot of shame around like hooking up or being a slut or maybe partying or being really faggy or like liking or going to like gay, like there's a whole world of gayness that I felt like I was like not connected to because of that. And then once I became like once I found like a gay guy friend group that is like my family, I always joke, like I've been out of the closet, like I've been gay my whole life and I've been out of the closet for 16, almost 17 years, but I've only been a faggot for like 3 or 4, because like I really leaned in, and and like my life like got 15 times better when I did. So I guess like that to an extent. I think that like like I'm not someone who I think I'm quite fortunate for this. I don't think like me being gay is like the most traumatic thing that happened to me, and like stuff around my gayness is not particularly traumatic. I think I mean I have traumas in my life. I have relationship stuff. I have different like familial stuff. I have like the thing. I mean, we all have our version of it, but like I love being gay and have kind of always loved being gay. I think that like because when I came out, my life got so much better so fast. Like night and day. I was like a miserable little fuck when I was in the closet. I was so like rancid and like hateful and like gossipy and like always trying to make sure that other people looked bad because like I didn't want the smoke on me. So I would always I was like a gossip. I was always starting rumors. I was just like nasty. Like I remember like friends of mine like when I was like 14, 15 being like, you suck. Like you're not a fun person to be around. Like freshman and sophomore high school me, middle school me sucked. And then I came out of the closet, and it was like a different person, and like people who like did not like me before were like, wait, you're cool now, not because not because I was gay, because I was a better person. And I think that seeing that in my own life and feeling that, I was like, oh, like I love being gay. And I think my only regret is that I didn't lean in harder sooner. You know what I mean?
It like aligned you more, and so you were able to actually be funny and be yourself rather than like trying to like project and get the heat off.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
What about, you mentioned dating? Do you know your attachment style?
What are they? Anxious,
Anxious, attached,
avoidant, and secure. I think I'm probably anxious. I'm actually definitely anxious. I know. I'm not gonna.
Okay, cool. Are you in a relationship at the moment?
No.
Okay. And has it been a while since you've been in a relationship?
Like I've dated like for a couple months, like guys here and there, but the last like serious like boyfriends thing was 3 years ago.
And you were anxiously attached there. What was that like?
There I was, I guess, probably avoidant actually, but I don't think we were actually like. What am I allowed to say and what am I not allowed to say? I think when I'm invested in a relationship and I want to be in it and I'm in love with someone, if I'm not doing the work to like hold myself in a balanced place, I'm anxious.
Okay.
I think I think like if I'm not being honest with myself and maybe this relationship is not working and maybe it's not the best thing for me, maybe I should go do something else and get out of there.
Avoidant.
I'm avoidant.
And also it can change throughout. So you could start off very anxiously attached because you think you're interested, and then
I
after a year, you're like,
I think here's what I'll say. I think part of what probably drew me to this relationship was that I am normally very anxiously attached, and so a relationship that felt very much like this person will never leave was very enticing because it quelled that anxiety that I always felt. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I was thinking dating stories just to end off a little fun story.
I think it's funny because like I'm not a particularly. I feel like I think I'm like. I'm funny on stage. My life is not often that funny. I don't know. Like I think I'm very.
I just go and shag people and go home.
I had a date recently where like we had hooked up and it had been very fun, like really, really, really fun. And we both been like, whoa, it was really fun. And so then like there had been like some life stuff that came up with like, I think new jobs or maybe, and like we didn't get to hook up again for like a while.
Okay.
And then when we decided to hook up again, I think that both of our lives had shifted a little bit to where it was kind of like, oh, we're going to hook up and go on a date this time, which like didn't happen the first time. And we hooked up first before we went on the date. And it was, again, very, very fun. But without the shininess of it being new, it was like, oh, it was fun, but it wasn't. And I think also maybe like the probably, 4 or 5 months since we had done it, we had like built up like. Yeah. And so then we hooked up and it was like, oh, that was sex. But it was like, I don't know. It wasn't this like supernova thing. And then we went on the date and it was like, I think I had just assumed because we had sexual chemistry, we would have like interpersonal chemistry. And so, like, normally I'd be more of like a, you know, like, let's go out for drinks kind of guy. We did full dinner. And,
that's
like 2 minutes in, it was like, oh, we actually don't have any chemistry. Like, we don't, like, conversationally, it was like the small talk that we had, like, in bed that was, like, cute and fun, like, just did not lead to anything.
Yeah.
And this restaurant, like, the service of this restaurant moves at a like glacial pace. Like it was just the longest dinner and like I talk for a living. My job is this. I'm on stage and I talk to people. I do interviews and I talk to people. Like I'm a gabber. I can yak with the best of them. There was nothing. Like we could not find a conversation. And it was like the most like, I remember by the end, I was like playing this game. This is fucked up. I was playing this game with myself. This sounds crazy, but it's true. Where I was like psychically screaming in my head to see if he could hear it. I was like, I wonder if I can telepathically like scream loud enough in my head that he'll be like, did you hear that? Because like we had when I tell you we had nothing to talk about, I'm telling you we had.
Oh, so it was actually silent. Like the date was silent.
Like, yeah, like a lot of like it was just, we'd think we'd have the conversation, be like, yeah, and so then that.
Oh.
Like, it just couldn't, I
hate that.
Like, I get the whole psychic screaming. I do that sometimes. Like, sometimes if, like, someone's talking to me and I'm like, I can't stand them, in my head, I'm like, can you hear me if I go, like, fuck off.
Yeah, it was a little bit of that. Like, But it wasn't even like vitriol. Like I wasn't mad at him. It wasn't like he had said, that was the other thing. It's like, it'd be one thing if he had said something I really disagreed with. Like if it was like political or something, because then like at least we could debate that. Or like not debate it, but like fight.
Yeah.
But it was just like, I can't.
The vibe is just off.
There was just something there. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. Because I just remember it was so jarring because it was like, I really thought it was going to be a good date because of the setup.
Yeah.
What do you... Sorry.
No, it's just like sometimes it's better just to shag them than date them.
Yeah, honestly.
I wish I did that with you, but we're here.
Love that, bitch. What do you need, or what make in someone's personality is something that you vibe with? Is it like humor? Is it like
intelligence?
Yeah. Like what is it where like the chemistry is there if they have
self-awareness? I think is like the biggest thing. Yeah, like I think self-awareness has always been like the thing I find the most attractive. Like,
what do you mean by self-awareness? Like,
someone who really knows themselves, that isn't like putting on airs of like you know how like you can like when you can kind of see someone is like putting on a performance or putting on something to like communicate a certain vibe or persona, and it's like everyone can kind of see like that's not you. Like just be you. You know what I mean? Whereas someone who's like more self-aware and self-possessed is just kind of being authentic, and there's like a comfortability there. I think that is something I'm really drawn to. I'm very drawn to, I really don't enjoy like wishy-washy. Like I hate like, hey, where do you want to go to, like if you're just like on the first date, like, hey, where do you want to go for dinner? Oh, I'm happy to go wherever. Hate that.
Directness.
You need to pitch. I'd rather you pitch somewhere I don't want to go, and then I'll say, let's go here instead, than you being like, oh, I'll go wherever. Like, I hate that. Okay. So, like, someone who, like, has their own, like, knows what they want to do, you know what I mean?
I don't mind.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate I don't mind. Yeah, I think it's, like, funny because, like, when you're dating in your early 20s, it's, like, neither of you really have a life yet. So you're kind of, like, you have all this space to just kind of, like, because... It's like you're figuring out your friend group, you're figuring out your job, you're figuring out where you want to live. Like you're like everything is like soft and amorphous, and it's really easy to like blend. And dating in your early 30s is like my life is like pretty locked. Like I have like my friend group, I have a career, I know where I live, like, and so it's like dating is more about like finding people that kind of match those Tetris blocks, and then really, really being considerately like, and which of those Tetris blocks am I willing to like rotate or flip or like remove.
You're an addition to my life.
But my life is not this thing I like, and your life is always growing and changing and building, but it's so much more defined now than it was when I was dating in my 20s, you know?
Okay. And yet you like now it's like if you're gonna take time out of my time of work or friends, it has to be worth it, as opposed to like I've got free time and I can just go.
Totally.
I get that. What I think on the final note, what advice would you give your younger self, knowing what you know now about everything that happened to Jake?
So many things. I would what advice would I give my younger self? Be gayer sooner. Like be like truly like go find like it's the one thing I just wish I'd been gayer sooner. I wish I had been the second I moved to New York. Like I was working at it's hard to answer this authentically because part of it is like, but I do love my life. Like there are friends that I have from the decisions I made that I wouldn't want to give up and stuff. But like if it was like a parallel universe and it was a different me and I was like, here's what your version of your life could be, go be a faggot immediately. Be at the gay bar. Like go, you're 21. First off, I lived in uptown Manhattan for the first 3 years I lived there, which is so far from all the gay bars. Stop, leave, move to Brooklyn sooner. And just be out meeting gay people. Make gay friends now. Like make as many gay friends as you want. Like don't have all your friends be straight people and just date gay guys. Go have a big ass gay guy friend group. Make friends with the dolls. Like make friends with everyone. Because like that's your life now, and your life is so much better for it. And it's so crazy for me to look back on the time in my early 20s when I was living in New York and not doing that. It feels like the biggest waste.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, it feels like I was at like the most gorgeous restaurant in the world and I was ordering like buttered noodles. You know, it's like it's just not. It's insane. So I guess that would be my advice.
That's really good. Well, I have to say, like, thank you so much. And are you touring after Brighton? Like, are you going to any other countries, going back to the US?
I'm going. I don't have any Euro shows planned yet, but I'm working on it. I will be, if you're in New York, I will be at Gramercy Theater November 12th, which is going to be my big show. So please come see that.
Yeah. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. I absolutely loved it. And I really,
Thank
really
you.
respect you. And I don't envy you because I think it is a stressful job and you make it look so easy. You just you just stood up and chatted and it was so good. And a lot of the stuff you said not only was funny, but it actually really like resonated. Like even things where you're like, I do that thing that every gay guy thinks they can have their own show.
Yeah.
And like all this really like quite unique and cool things that we all just like pick up on. So it is an amazing show. Definitely go and see it. And thank you so much.
Thank
for bringing it up.
you. This was so fun.
Thank you so
having
much.
us.
Take care. Bye everyone.
Bye.